Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Christmas at the Crafty Cove. My name's Missy. I am so excited to have y'all today. If you haven't already, I'd be so honored if you would hit that subscribe button and become a part of our Crafty Cove family. So I wanted a farmhouse Christmas door hanger for my front door, and I just couldn't find one I wanted, and they're so expensive. I was not going to pay the prices they wanted. So I just took two tags from the Dollar Tree. These are from a couple years ago. On one, I paint two good coats of white chalk paint, drying between coats. Then I just go ahead and distress around the edges with some antiquing wax. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. Another thing that may be really cute is if you did like a black ticking around it. But I just decided to do, or a red ticking. I just decided to go ahead and weather it up a little bit. And then I'm going to use some chicken wire and I'm going to staple it to this like some chicken wire ribbon. But this MDF was just way too thin and it would have come out through the front. So I went ahead and took two popsicle sticks and just cut them down and glued one on top of the other of the three pieces that I got out of one popsicle stick. And then I'm just going to glue that to the back of my tag. And I do that twice, and then I also do it on the other tag. And that just makes sure that when I go right here to staple my ribbon to the tag, it's not going to go through the back and straight out into the front, and this just makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to take this chicken wire ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree years ago, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, when they first started carrying it, and I got some and had never used it, and I found it in my stash. We're going to do the same exact thing with the other tag, because remember we're using two tags, but I only show you once, and it cuts very easily even with scissors. After we get that finished, we're going to put this one to the side and we're going to work on our second tag. For the second tag, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to put it all over the tag, and then I'm going to dry it with my heat tool there. I like this technique with Mod Podge because it makes it where it does not bubble, it does not crease up. And I'm sure you all have seen this a million times before, but this is my favorite way to Mod Podge now. So after I get all that on there, I use my heat gun and I get it completely dry. You want to make sure that Mod Podge has no stickiness to it at all. Then I'm just going to lay down my fabric, which I got from the Dollar Tree, red and black buffalo check. I got this probably last year. Everything I'm using I had in my stash. So I'm just going to use my cheap little iron. This is not a Cricut iron. This is just an off-brand that I got at Walmart for $15 or $16, and it does an excellent job on this. After we get that finished, we're going to go ahead and cut around the material and make sure we get it just how we want it, right to the size of the tag. And then I'm going to put this Farmhouse Christmas decal on the white one. I did go ahead and cover the backs of both of these tags with some craft paper so that you would not see the other side, the print that was on the other side. You can use craft paper, you could use vinyl, you could just spray paint them, or just leave them as they are. But I did this just in case I might want to sell it, which after I see it, I don't want to sell it. Now I took a piece of Hobby Lobby scrapbook paper and cut out a little truck, just fussy cut it, and then I'm doing the same process. Put down my Mod Podge, dry it, put down my piece. On this, because it's paper, I went ahead and put a piece of wax paper over it and ironed it down. After we get that finished, we are going to go ahead and run something through the top of these, in the top holes of these tags, so that they will hang. And I went ahead and decided to use some black and white buffalo check ribbon from Hobby Lobby, I believe, and I get it in there through both of those. And before I tie it, I make sure that these are right where I want them, and then I go ahead and use a little bit of hot glue and glue the top one to the bottom one. And then after I get that finished, I do go ahead and tie a couple of knots at the top of this ribbon here. And again, that's just because this is going to become my hanger on my hook on my front door. After we get that finished, I go ahead and make a messy bow. This one, I like how it turned out, but I got it way too big, so I had to cut it down quite a bit before I even glued it to my tags here. But all you do basically for a messy bow is take different strips of ribbon or material. The black and red is just material, it's not even ribbon. And you stack them pretty much on top of each other in an X formation, and then you're just going to tie them in the center with some twine. Again, I needed to cut mine down because they were way too long and way too big. But then we are just going to go ahead and glue that down. And then I took a pre-made bow black and white check that I got from the Dollar Tree. We glue that right on top of this one, and then I just start decorating, which is one of my favorite parts. So I'm going to stop talking for just a couple minutes and let you all watch the process. Again, these things are so expensive, but I wanted one and wanted to make it my own, and I did all of this for less than $3. Y'all let me know in the comments below what you think. So for this project, we are taking a piece of the faux metal, I don't know what you call this, and some English ivy green acrylic paint. All I'm going to do is paint this acrylic paint on there, and at first I used like a painting motion, and then I realized if I pounced it, it went on so much better. So I just go ahead and pounce this green all over this sheet here. It's that faux metal tile, I guess is what it's called. I don't know. But we're going to do this whole sheet. Once that's completely dry, then I'm going to take some white chalk paint. I'm going to dip my paper towel in it, and I'm just going to run it over this. And what it does is it collects in those raised pieces. This turns out gorgeous. I've seen these all over Pinterest lately, and I didn't know if I could do it, but I love how this turned out. After we get that finished, we're going to cut all of the backing off, even the sticky part. We do not want the sticky part. And once we get all of that cut out, we're just going to go and cut out that centerpiece right there. And all I'm using is a craft knife, and it did perfect. I mean, I had no trouble at all. It doesn't leave jagged edges, which is what I really, really liked, because that's what I was afraid of. But it was a very smooth cut when I cut around this. After we get it all cut out and get it out of the middle, we're going to put this, well, we're going to use this as like a little frame here in just a minute, just to make sure I get the size of the piece that I want. So I'm going to take more of that Dollar Tree, or no, I'm sorry, Hobby Lobby scrapbook paper. I find the image that I want, and I go ahead and trace around it, and then I just take that out and cut that piece out. Then I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree signs that are shaped like a Christmas tree. You don't have to do this part. I probably shouldn't have did it, but I did anyway, just in case something peeked through. I just painted it with one good coat of white chalk paint. Next, I'm just going to take my little purple glue stick here and glue our picture right into the center of the tree. And then we're going to take our faux tile piece and we are going to glue that down to the tree. Y'all, this turns out beautiful. I have no clue what was going on with my glue gun here. I had to eventually switch to my bigger glue gun. It was not doing what I wanted. But anyway, back to the thought at hand. This turns out gorgeous. I absolutely love it, and I'm going to be making more. I know people already have asked me to make some and with different things other than the trucks. But I love the red trucks, and I do Farmhouse, so this was perfect for me. And again, all we're doing is gluing that down with just regular hot glue. After we get that finished, we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to cut this faux tile off. And it is so thin. My craft knife did it again. No jagged edges. It was a very smooth cut with just my craft knife. Then I'm going to take 6 tumbling tower blocks and I'm going to stain those with some antique stain. We're going to put those to the side for a minute and let that dry. And then what we're going to do is I decided to use a little bit of that antiquing wax on my tree also. You do not have to do this. You do not have to use green. You do not have to use white. You can use any colors that you want to use for this. But this is just my style. And remember, this is just for inspiration. So after we get that finished, we're going to glue 2 of the tumbling tower blocks end to end twice. And then we're going to take 1 of the tumbling tower blocks and lay it on top of the stack of 2 in the middle and glue those on. These are just our holders. We're going to make like a little stand for our tree just so it'll stand on the shelf that I want it to. So we're going to glue 1 to the front and 1 to the back. This is the easiest way I've found to do this. If you know a better way, let me know. But these, it stands perfectly well when I do something like this to things that I want to stand. Next, I'm just going to take some greenery and we're just going to start decorating this up. I just used some greenery and some red berries. I did end up putting a messy bow made out of red and black check down at the bottom with a little pine cone. I also did put this star, you'll see here in just a minute, I think. I may not have even shown it. I do put a little star that I stained with the antique wax on top also, and this is what it turned out like. I absolutely love this. So for this project, I'm showing you 12 tumbling tower blocks, but I end up using 14. And what I do is I glue 7 of them end to end, and I do that twice. So you'll get 2 sets of 7 tumbling tower blocks. I go ahead and stain those with some antique wax. I'm just showing you here and how nasty my hands are. Then I take 5 of the giant popsicle sticks and I cut off one end. I want one end to stay rounded, so I leave that part rounded, but I cut off the other round end. And all I'm doing here is putting them all together, and we are going to glue another few giant popsicle sticks on just to get them to stay together. I hope that makes sense. We are making a little sled here, and this turns out so cute and so simple, but it's exactly what I wanted. So after we get all of those popsicle sticks on the back and it's all stuck together and it's not going to come apart, now we're just going to stain the popsicle sticks again with some antique wax. Then I take one more popsicle stick, leave the edges on both ends, stain it, and I'm putting a little decal on it that says welcome. After that, I don't know where some of this footage went, y'all, but it's pretty simple. After that, I made another decal that just says Nethery, which is our last name, and put it on the front of the popsicle sticks. Now we're going to put our sled together. So I take those 2 sets of 7 tumbling tower blocks. Those are like our rungs, I guess, or whatever you call them. And I'm just going to set those up on their side, and I'm going to glue the popsicle sticks right to the tumbling tower blocks, one on each side on the bottom. Now, again, I've lost footage. I don't know where all my footage for this video went, but it was too cute not to share it with you all, so I went ahead and shared it anyway. Then we're going to put our welcome piece right up there at the top. I do go ahead and use some black and white buffalo check ribbon and tie that around the top just for like the string you would pull the sled by. And then I also did put a little wreath in the corner, which you will not see until I reveal it here in just a minute. But it was super, super simple and turned out so beautiful. I love how it turned out. But y'all let me know in the comments below what you think about this one. So here we are at our final reveal of all the projects. Y'all let me know what you think about these in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope y'all are abundantly blessed. Y'all come back now. You hear?